Congrats, Carrie. You were first today. Good morning, Tim, Albert. Good morning, Amy. Hello, Angela. Hope all is well. Hey, Tater Tot. Good morning, Kelly, over in North Vernon. Edward, good to see you on here. Angela, it says, are we going to have art class today? Maybe. There's a chance. I'll try to spare you from too much crazy drawings. All right, let's get right to it. Here we go. A countdown to winter. All right, 80 days, 80 long days until we get to the winter solstice. It's on a Sunday this year, early in the morning, so I'll probably sleep in more than likely. Hey, you guys up for a random camera shot right now? Just a random live view that I just saw. We have like a what we call a router in the system here in our newsroom where we can see different feeds. Sometimes all over the world, we don't have much control over it. We just see them being popped up, and one popped up that I thought was a very unusual shot. Take a gander. This is a live image, by the way, coming in from the top of the Statue of Liberty, looking straight down from the torch. Isn't that very cool? Very cool angle. A lot of folks out there. You see a lot of tours going on. I've seen the Statue of Liberty from the Manhattan side there. It's staying on the island. I haven't been all the way to Ellis Island itself, but I have seen it in the distance. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but it really shocked me how much smaller it was compared to what even in the movie Titanic. I thought it was like massive when I saw Titanic, and then I saw in person. I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess back then it probably was a huge statue, but still very cool, and a very cool symbol as you come into the harbor there. All right, just one of my random shots that I wanted to share with you guys here on this Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Goode. Welcome to the blog here today. We've got several things to cover. I know I'm running behind. I got you guys spoiled yesterday with me being on earlier, right? I know, I understand. But today we're going to do a drought update, and then we're going to get into how there is a rain chance actually today, but not for all of you. Some of you that's trying to sneak into the cards, but I wouldn't be too excited on it. Next week's system, the front that's coming in, has a little more of a kick to it than what it did last time I talked to you guys. I like the trend on that. We'll see how that trends over the weekend, but I'll have an update on that as well. All right, so let's get right into it. Beautiful shot right now of some of the cirrus clouds looking off to the east right now from the harbors in Jeffersonville. We are likely on track here to get into the mid-80s once again. The drought index, that updated today. And wait, what did you say, Kelly? I was just taking a selfie. Yeah, the statue is, probably taking this. That's good. Very good. Very witty there, Kelly. I like that. This is a true reflection. I warned you guys, or not really warned you. What's the best phrasing here? My brain is mush today, so I apologize. I didn't get much sleep. You guys know how it is. When you get to Thursday and you don't have much sleep for the week, it's like you really are like, come on, Friday, hurry up. But I advise you all that the outlook today would be a true reflection of where we're at on the drought status, given we haven't had any rain in that Tuesday to Tuesday window that matters when it comes to the sampling. So moderate drought for the Louisville area and across south central areas of Kentucky, and still a section of Indiana, no drought status, and that includes parts of the Hoosier National Forest area. So this is, I think, fair assessment of it based on the leaves I've seen that have fallen already from drought stress. And moderate drought does seem to fit. So the good news is we are going to get some rain. The bad news is the rain that we're expecting will happen on sample day next week. So my suspicion is the next drought update next Thursday will likely look worse than this, but in reality, it won't be because we'll have some rain. So I hate that it's designed this way. I don't have any control over that, but just kind of advise you that this is a true reflection. It may be a couple weeks before we get another true reflection of where we're at on drought. Okay, enough about that talk. Let's get into the satellite. Hard to even see the clouds in the area, but this is interesting. You got a little feed of cumulus that are trying to build to the west. This is a sign of some of that moisture that has taken a very odd route to get here. that will be our setup for today. So here's a wider view, and I know it's hard to see because the sun is not fully over the eastern United States yet. It's not high noon, so it's lighting up brighter in the Atlantic. That's where it's higher in the sky. And then we get a really good view usually by the time I get into the midday show and noon show. It lights up perfectly for the lower 48 in our area, so it's hard to see the clouds. But at least want to show you that here we go with the tail of Imelda, that tropical wave. That will certainly be part of our forecast still for next week. More on that in a second. Back here at home, some of the moisture is trying to sneak up the flow of the Mississippi River Valley, and it's coming at a very odd hook angle, if you will. It travels roughly from south of Nashville, Tennessee, all the way to around Memphis, near St. Louis, and then it takes a hard right into areas of southwest Indiana. So kind of going around us, but a close enough turn that there's just enough moisture that, yeah, I could see where you can get a quick downpour. But no doubt, you've got to be along that path to really see even a low-end rain chance. So majority of you will be in the hook portion of that, the spot that's going to be a little tougher to get rain into. So that's the reason why we're not too excited on rain chances today. Here's the moisture field coming in as of this morning. You can see it kind of wrapping around, and this will wrap all the way around to Indiana. So let me show you how this looks on Futurecast. This is our in-house model. I think it does a great job on explaining this in better detail. The red area, of course, is your cape or your fuel. It's nothing to worry about until you see it get into the gold color. When it gets in the gold color, then you got a lot of fuel to work with. And it's hard to get to those values this time of the year and really for the rest of the year. But it's a sign of a lot of fuel, and you get your bigger thunderstorms, right? But a low end amount, a little bit of red, indicates at least where you can get some lightning that can develop in a few cases. But to me, I want you guys to use this as an example here as where your better chances for rain will be by paying attention to the red area. I think that's going to be the easiest way for you to get this. All right. So here we go today. Again, kind of hooking around this. If you are in areas maybe west of Grayson County, around Hancock County, Kentucky, back toward Evansville area. So again, right on the western edges of wave country, you're just in that spot where a quick little downpour could pop. I think here in Louisville, and majority of you watching too far away from it. Now, what happens is that curl holds its shape, if you will, curling around, but it lifts a little more north and northeast as we head into Friday. So watch the red area. Here we go, 11 o'clock tonight. All right, let's advance this into tomorrow. About midday tomorrow, and notice the hook is still there, but it now hooks right into southern Indiana and right into Louisville. So really, tomorrow will feature a better rain chance than today will for a lot of you watching. But when I say better, I mean the difference is between 0 and 10%. Not a huge chance. I just want to at least mention it because if someone gets a shower tomorrow, I didn't want them to panic and say, "Oh, you guys are way off track." I don't want, I know how it goes. I pay attention to social media, but I just want to let you know there's at least a chance. So, should you wash your car? Probably not, because then you'll really jinx it and it's going to aim right for you. Otherwise, temperature is not too bad. We'll end up staying generally into the lower 80s in many cases. So I really think the warmest we've seen for this spell of warmth happened earlier this week. And I don't see us getting up to those type of values again, even through part of the weekend. It's going to be a little tough. All right, we'll get close, but we're in a better flow here to ease up on some of these numbers. After that, that little hook is gone for the weekend. So it's only just a short stay here in the next 36 hours that rain chance will exist. All right, so let's get into the tropics because this is where most of the action will be. And then I'll get to some of your questions, so stand by with them. If I miss your question, I apologize. But more than likely, somebody's going to answer before I do. So I trust you all, most of you all. Here's a look at Imelda. Still a hurricane. That's the leftovers Humberto, which again is now more of a frontal look to it. And there's that tail from Imelda all the way through the Eastern Caribbean and right into Florida, where it will likely hang out for a while. Not the best news for Florida. Does anybody know anyone vacationing there right now? The Space Coast area, Daytona? I'm sure they're complaining because the outlook is about 10 to 14 inches of rain for eastern Florida today and tomorrow with this tropical wave stuck thanks to Imelda. So I think fall break's still happening, right? We didn't have fall break when I was with JCPS. I went to Moore High School. We did not have fall break. Now, Western, when I went to college, yes, we had 2 days, 2 days in October. Now kids get like a week. It's crazy. I wish I had that. That'd been nice. I need a fall break. Anyway, if they're down there, then they're probably not having the best time. But if they're at Disney, they're probably having a great time. So that's the tail portion that we'll be watching that could influence our weather again for next week. So let me get right into the tropical outlook. 3 areas really that the Hurricane Center is watching. Obviously, there's Imelda. There is the highlighted area that is a tropical wave that could actually become a depression. I don't see it getting named. If it were to get named, the next name on the list would be Jerry. Don't see it right now. I think it's too close to the coastline for that to happen. But I think a depression is fair. I think that could develop. I wouldn't rule it out. And yes, there's another wave out here that could develop as well. If it were to get named, say Jerry gets named, the next name after that would be Karen. And that would be further out into the Atlantic. So still a little busy out there. I don't think we need to worry about this right now. It's too far out. But this is certainly going to be one of our players combined with the front to give us some rainfall. The odds, I think, are at 10% that they have on this from the Hurricane Center. But based on what I've seen before and around Florida and these frontal boundaries that are stuck along the coastline, we do tend to get a depression out of that. So it wouldn't shock me one bit. Really won't matter other than the idea it's going to rain a lot. Okay, so here's the game plan. Here's the Euro, and we're going to walk through this as we evolve into this weekend. This weekend is going to be a summer-like weekend, not humid at all, but it will be warm into the 80s and mainly dry. We get into Monday. Monday is kind of our buffer day because that is when we start to feel the influence of 2 things. The tail of Imelda begins to get pulled in a little more. See, the red area is now showing up here on Monday. So we get fuel. And then also the front. Look how defined that front is. What a straight line across the lower 48 there. So that's the front moving in. It's trying to scoop up the moisture, but I don't think we're going to be looking at a ton of rainfall, and I don't think we're looking at severe weather right now because of one big issue, and that's just where the flow is coming from. Yes, we're getting tropical moisture here, but it has to take a very odd route. I mentioned the route that the moisture today is taking, right? Going around us into Memphis and St. Louis, then coming here. It's similar for next week. It travels really from Texarkana and then gets pulled to the northeast ahead of the front. And the majority of the moisture for the front is actually being pulled from whatever monsoon moisture it can get from New Mexico. And there's not a lot, although there is some tropical activity down there in the Baja Peninsula. But there is enough moisture being pulled ahead of the front to allow for showers and storms. There you go, Angela. There's your drawing today. But typically at that angle, you don't get a ton of severe weather, but you can get at least a round of some rain and some thunderstorms there. And I would say right now, if I had to throw out numbers, it's still a little early, but I know you're going to ask, so why not tell you? Because you're going to get it out of me anyway, because I'm very weak with you all. I'm very weak. I'm thinking right now about a 1/2 inch to maybe 3/4. It'll be about the average I think we'll get. Not enough to bust a drought, but enough that it would help. It would help, especially on getting our fuels, the leaves that are falling wet, so that there's not as much of a fire danger as we evolve. And it will likely shake down some of the leaves, too, off the trees as it moves on by. So Tuesday is still our target day for the majority of the radar to be active, but it may buffer a bit on Monday and may buffer a bit on Wednesday. So it's kind of a blend, but Tuesday is a little more in the middle and more solidly locked in. Once it moves on by, the amount of dry air that comes in behind it has increased to the point where now the drop in temperature looks a little more dramatic behind the front. And in fact, we could squeeze out some 60-degree days out of this and lows into the 40s. Could the furnaces kick on for the first time next week? Yes, I do think it is possible. Some could even drop into the lower 40s for next Thursday and Friday. And there's even a bit of a wind chill factor that shows up. Not a strong one, but enough that you will be wearing jackets, you'll be wearing your hoodies, walking around, no shorts, kind of a setup as we end next week. So if you're wanting the little teaser of fall, it is on the way. It's coming as we head into next week. However, we do warm back up after that. Remember, any cool wave that's coming in October is going to be transient. It's not going to be able to lock in. So we'll warm up each time after them. But at least we'll get some. And this will no doubt, by the way, with the rain and lows in the 40s, all that lows in the 40s and a clear sky is a perfect recipe to really pop the fall color. That's what is generally required to get a one heck of a show. So the timing could be awesome because the peak color will start building at that point next week, and I do think the timing could be remarkable. So there's still hope here. We could have a really awesome looking fall if this all plays out as a storyline, which it looks like it will. But as I mentioned, we do warm up after that, likely back into the 80s, and then we'll get another front that will move in. I still see the front for the middle of October coming into play. I get new long-term data tonight. I get it tonight, so tomorrow on the blog we'll talk about it. But if you guys have been paying attention, you know that there was those little hints of some snowflake action on the matrix ensembles. If you remember the date that I kept referring to, that date is getting a little more support in recent data I've been looking at, but I want to wait till I get another piece tonight. So I won't say the date, but you kind of know where I'm referring to there. All right, let's get into the 10-day, and then I'll get to some of your questions. You see we got the 80s today, 80s for the weekend. There's that drop with the rain. And then, ooh, 60s next week. I wonder how many people are going to skip work next Thursday. Saw a 10% chance. Oh, hello, Crispy. Saw a 10% chance on Sunday. Going to be in a crawl space for 6 hours. Why are you going to be in a crawl space? Hope you're all right, Crispy. That is going to be more so late Sunday. Not so much during the day. So it'll be late Sunday. It's really accounting for a Sunday night. Again, part of that buffer that kicks in. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Wait a minute. Did I see a message from, where did it go? Okay, I see that some of y'all are typing the date in. So yeah, y'all are paying attention. All right, good. Scott, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you since our days in school. They never closed the Walmart in Bowling Green, though, my fellow. Yep, the Walmart in Bowling Green, yeah. I miss my days down Bowling Green. Hope you're doing well, Scott. Let's see, any questions? No one really has any questions, right? Everyone's just excited. What'd you say, Adam? Air conditioner now, furnace next week. Yes, that is typical weather for the Ohio Valley and Wave Country. Get ready for the memes on social media. They'll be coming out. Will there be any Hurricane Carrie? That's a good question. I thought that we already had Carrie. Maybe that specific name. They have different names for the different oceans, obviously. But I thought Carrie was in the Pacific because I thought it was threatening Hawaii at one point, but I could be wrong. But I'm just kind of going off the top of my head, which is a little dangerous. You hit 53 this morning, Adam. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Wait until next week. Dew points get down into the 40s next week, but there are some signs that dew points may get into the upper 30s. So it is going to be a very cool setup. I was waiting for this question. Will there be a frost? No, I don't see a frost right now. Typically, frost is roughly 36 degrees. I don't see us getting down to that level unless the trends of a drier forecast, a little more of a punch with the cool air begin to show up. But I think where we've got everything now seems pretty fair on the data. So we'll be watching them. It'll be a little early to get one too, but not unheard of. Not unheard of. Everyone seems good. All right. Are you going to stream on? Are you going to stream a ghost on Twitch? Steam Ghost? I'm not sure I got you there, Ryan. I don't really stream on Twitch. I watch Twitch a lot. I am a kid at heart, a gamer, so I still play games. But I also love the IRL stuff. I'll watch Kai Cenat. If you guys want, I'm sure you know who he is, but hilarious streams he does. So I watch a lot of people on there. And our blog is on there right now. We're live on Twitch. So if you are a gamer and you are a kind of a scroller through all the feeds on Twitch, anytime you see a live notification, we're on there too. So it's easy to switch over to that at the same time, and you can comment too, which is kind of nice. All right, guys, I'm going to run because I am running over on time as always. But tomorrow we'll talk a little more about some of the new long-term data, and we'll see if that date you are typing out that y'all seem to think is going to be our first snow chance. We'll see if you're right or not. Coming up tomorrow. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you all coming up on midday at 11 a.m. Take care.